Travel Brats!
Happy Travel Brat Tuesday! It's Soph.
And Nat.
Coming to you live from the studio. Guys, what's up? We hope you've been having a good week, a good month, getting some work done, but also remembering to relax on the weekends and travel. And we definitely have been traveling and working hard. A little bit of both. Actually, today was a cool, different idea that I never expected to do an episode on this particular place. But if you guys have been following a little bit about Nellie and my lives, we move around a lot. I'm actually doing a big move soon and going to possibly Alabama or DC, which are totally different spots. Yeah. We got a lot of really great engagement on our DC episode, guys. Thanks for listening. We're glad you like that. So this place is a little bit of a 180 contrast. A little bit of a 180. I don't even know if that's a thing. But it's Dothan, Alabama. If anybody has ever driven from further up in the south to Panama City, a lot of times you'll hit Dothan on your way. And it's really only 45 minutes away from the Florida coast because it's right above the Alabama-Florida border. Yeah. But it's they should make a band called Alabama Georgia Line. I was doing that. Yeah. But this is a cool little spot. It's very country. It's very peanut. You'll hear why later. But I actually thought it was really sweet and cute and liked it. It was kind of like a little different southern town. So, and it was different from Fairhope, Alabama. It had its own, every tiny town has their own charm, and they're all slightly different. Course. Yeah, so I would say if you guys are traveling or you just need to rest on a long trip, or if you're just if you live in Alabama or Florida, and you're trying to kind of just get away for a weekend and go see a different little town, there's actually surprisingly a lot to do in Dothan, Alabama. And it's a bigger town than you think it would be. I thought it was as small as Fairhope, but it's actually quite a bit larger.
Oh, so Fairhope is a really small town.
Fairhope is a lot smaller. It's actually a lot cuter, Fairhope. Oh, okay. But Dothan is actually bigger, so they do have things that Fairhope wouldn't do, annual festivals and things like that. Things like that. Yeah. So first, if you're a guy or a girl who's into golf, I'm preferably into more tennis, but they actually have two really amazing golf courses. My husband loves golf, so the Dothan Country Club and the Highlands Oak Golf Course. If you guys are, again, taking a chill weekend, they have two beautiful golf courses. Alabama has a lot of land, so they have a lot of golf there. Same thing with Georgia. And then if you're looking for more of a cultural experience, okay, one of the cool spots there is the Civic Center. It has a variety of events throughout the year, music concerts, theater productions, and art exhibits. So if you want the culture yourself, you can go here. And then what's a cool fact, I said peanut a few minutes ago. Actually, it's the peanut capital of the world.
Really?
Yeah. Of the world.
That's the U.S. so random to me.
Yeah, it's
do they
really
do
random.
bold peanuts?
I'm sure they do.
Bold peanuts on the side of the road?
They're a peanut sandwich, fried peanuts, boiled peanuts.
What's
from Forrest Gump, right? It's like shrimp,
oh my gosh,
shrimp
I feel
sandwich.
terrible about myself.
Natalie,
I know.
So slow today. Just kidding.
It's been
No,
a long
not.
time since I've seen that movie.
I know it has. But yeah,
so
surprisingly enough, whenever someone says peanuts, the first thing I think is Five Guys, because I'm like.
Right.
That's the only place I get peanuts anymore is Five Guys. So I'm like, if it's anything like the really basic Five Guys peanuts, they must be great. Yeah. Free. They must be free. Just kidding. But yes, so they have the annual National Peanut Festival every November. So it is annual. Every November, guys, it has lots of, it's like your classic festival. Like rides,
they do
games,
everything, not just
it's like an Iowa State Fair, but for peanuts and in Dothan, Alabama.
Okay.
Yeah, so guys, check that out if you're there in November.
If you really love peanuts. Yeah.
Which actually we go to Fairhope, Alabama every November, and Dothan is technically it's technically kind of on the way. So you could always stop for the peanut festival and keep going west. So anyway, that's a really fun fact. Makes it unique, and then. Just like any cool, cute little town, they've always got a variety of hidden gem, cute old bars and restaurants and breweries. So I just wanted to hit a few. KBC, which is actually when we got some recommendations at the med school, and this was supposed to be the best food in the little town. There was I don't even know her name. She was on the Julia Child. Julia Child.
Yeah.
I think it's her restaurant. I may
Really?
be wrong, but it had her name and stuff on there.
She was
so something, because he said it's some famous lady that wasn't on the Food Network. And then when I was linking everything, I was like, Julia. So we ate at this particular restaurant for dinner one night, and I got steak frites, and the steak was actually really good. French fries were alright, but the steak was good. And I got a elote, and I had been, okay guys, we went to San Antonio, and I had the worst Mexican in my life. I know, in San Antonio. I know, it's terrible.
Yeah, that's very
it's a terrible experience. But I got this little bowl of elote, and I was so excited because I hadn't had like straight up elote in such a long time, and it was like the worst tasting thing ever. This place, it came in the same little bowl, and I had a little bit of PTSD, and then I took a bite, and it was like some of the best elote.
Why?
So
That's so random.
I don't know. But it was like steak frites, but it was almost kind of Mexican because I got a little side of elote. It was so fun. It was so good. So this place was awesome. And the drinks, you would have loved the drinks. We got these cute little drinks and they were delicious. So this place was very cute. Again, it was very like rustic, old industrial with like the wood and like the black lanterns with just the regular light bulbs. It was very cool.
And it's called KBC?
It's called KBC.
Does that stand for anything? Or that's just...
You know, actually, KBC... It's called Eat KBC
Eat
by
KBC.
Chef Kelsey. But,
that's probably her name.
Yeah, and it's established in 2020. I was about to say 2018. 2008. Established, I can't even read that. 2008, Eatery, Catering, Bakery.
Cute.
So again, it was
Very
super
cute.
cute. This is what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's fabulous, guys. If you click on the link in the bio, if you read, guys, also plug. If you read our blog, I was gonna say if you click on the link in our blog, a lot of we just realized this week that a lot of you guys don't know that we create blogs for the large majority of our episodes, and if we don't create blogs, we create outlines, and everything we talk about is linked in there plus extra stuff. Yeah, and you can find that on www.thetravelbrats.com, and then we have literally it all sectioned out by like travel tips, international travel, national travel. So guys, check it out. Check out our website because a lot of times it's like, I heard on that podcast I like what they were talking about.
Right.
You know, and then you gotta go back and find it.
And
it's like
in the podcast it's hard to find exactly where it was said, and so the blog is great for that.
Well, and even in our specific podcast episodes, like if you go to Apple, like if you click on it underneath, if you click it more, it has most of it. If the blog is too long, you won't have the whole blog.
Right.
And I'm not really sure if it links that well. So guys, go to the website. And you can even listen to our blogs on the website while you like search around and click the links. So that's just a plug if you guys didn't know that. I do it all the time because I am not a rememberer of words. So I have to click on the link. Sophia, the not rememberer of words. And then some other restaurants to shout out that are really good would be the Old Mill, Rodeo, Firestone, and Uka Sushi. We got these recommendations from a lot of people that have been living there between 5 and 20 years. So professors, students, deans, stuff. We met a lot of people at the med school. They were super nice. Everybody there is just super nice. Our waitress, there's just some restaurants you go to where you remember the certain person who served you just because they were just like a very like great server, very lively person.
Yeah.
But like not too annoying. You know, there's like that fine line. She was like amazing. And that was actually at KBC too. So anyway, yeah, KBC, the Old Mill, Rodeo, Firestone, and Uka Sushi. And then Dothan also has, which I love because here, like in Fort Myers, in Southwest Florida, yes, they do have hole-in-the-wall coffee shops, but like right in my area right here in Estero, they have none. It's only like chain Starbucks. Yeah, you have to go down to Bonita, you have to go up to Fort Myers. There's not like, let me go 5 minutes to, you know, because it's the big shopping centers with the big chains.
Yep.
So for me, I loved this town because they had Dakota Coffee Works was great, Mural City Coffee, and Bird and Bean. And actually in Mural City, I'll post pictures. I've never been so obsessed with like the layout and decor of a coffee shop before. And I've seen a lot of cute coffee shops from like college travels. It had like, oh my gosh, those like the old fireplaces with like the little ball stones in them. Ooh. And then it had like chandelier made out of teacups. Yes, and they kept all their tea in glass jars, and you had to like move an old ladder to like. They had a tea bar and a coffee bar. They were separate too.
It was very special.
Yeah, it was like very special. It was very cool, and they had all this local art, which was like cool portraits of different people all over the walls. It was very, very cool. And how these like velvety couches for sitting on, cozy, like if you wanted to catch up with your friends, or if you wanted to literally like put your feet up and work. I loved it. So anyway, Mural City Coffee was phenomenal. And then there are several breweries. Some of the favorite ones were Thirsty Pig, Craft Beer Tarpoon, and Barbecue Food Truck.
Whoa, that's a really long name.
So beer and BBQ, BBQ and beer, yeah. And then it reminds me of the episode we did with you. We did, was it biking brews?
Yeah, brews, biking beer, or no.
Biltmore. It was
Biltmore. Yeah.
Biltmore. I don't know the order.
Biking.
Yeah, some in that order. Some not in that order, but some sort of order with
Something
3 B's. It's too late. It's late at night. Okay. Just kidding. And so those are great. Also, Folklore Brewing and Meadery.
Meadery. Oh, they do meat. That's cool.
They do meat and beer, which
Love that.
very Viking.
We have a place like that in Asheville, and it is really, really cool.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, I think this place is so totally cute. And then, so if you're looking for something more unique, then they also have the George Washington Carver Museum, and they also have a lot of concert venues for like bunch of big artists. Like Ella Young Band, I just looked up one of them. The Plant is not a band. I don't know if it is a band, but it's the actual venue, and they're having Ella Young Band play on like I think it's May 18th. So like there's a lot of decently big artists in country artists that come through. So I thought that was really cool.
I just love that they have a George Washington Carver Museum. Who, yes, famous person, but it's just like we're gonna create a whole museum out of our most famous resident.
Isn't that funny?
I love that.
Welcome to Dothan, Alabama, people.
That's the thing, though. I mean, every city, and as I'm listening to other podcasts that are, whether they're travel podcasts or whether they're history, I listen to a lot of history podcasts talking about different cities and how, especially in like the early 1900s, a lot of cities were trying to do things that created tourism, that brought people in. Like the one I'm thinking of right now is Mount Rushmore, which of course is a massive one in South Dakota. But that was like a huge pull. They did that. They brought in those stone carvers and these designers to create this thing that people would want to come see.
Right.
And it's just like every city yearns to have that thing.
Fighting for the rights.
Exactly. So it's just like I love that the thing that Dothan has is the George Washington Carver Museum. And but that's cool.
The Peanut Festival.
And the Peanut Festival, right? But there's always something that every city can offer that has a unique flavor, a unique situation.
Really?
Or I love that. And it's so random. It's so random.
I mean, like honestly, this reminds me of one summer we did Travel Brats did a series with my sister Graciela, and shout out to Gracie, and she lives in Atlanta. She's like a mix of Kat Von D and the girl from LA Inc. She's that is Kat Von D. Kat Von D and Amy Winehouse. Kat Von D, the girl from LA Inc. and Amy Winehouse, and she loves the city. She's covered in tattoos and she's got crazy cool long black jet hair, but like at the same time, she loves like going to like little random nowhere country towns and like visiting old churches and old antique stores and things like that. And Georgia is like plentiful. Yes.
And I'm sure Alabama is.
Yeah, so she did. We had a really popular summer series with her where she took us to like Rome, Savannah, but then like all the other really small towns in between. It was really cool. So this is what Dothan kind of reminds me of. It's special in its own way. I do really love how artsy it is. My favorite thing there would probably be the coffee. And like the coffee bars, because I just love when a city has like really artsy coffee shops. I mean, like I didn't even have coffee there. Mike had the best hot chocolate of his life. I had tea. I had like green matcha tea, and they had like the special of the day was like green matcha tea with like peppermint something. And I was like, is that good? And they were like, try. And they made it for me, and it was so good. And I was like, I've never thought of this. So
I love those kind of like artisan coffee shops, and I'm laughing because as you're talking about Dothan, it reminds me a lot of the town that I grew up in, Black Mountain. That's just like really small, really charming, and maybe Black Mountain is a little more like Fairhope, but you have these like beautiful little towns that are kind of surprises, that are gems. And again, I'm laughing because it's so different from Washington, D.C. And as you guys are deciding where you're going to be going and what school Mike is going to, it's just the thought of you ending up in D.C. or Dothan and how opposite
double D's
those two places are.
But honestly, I mean, really, and it's funny to see the hidden gems and like what's close to people's hearts no matter where it is, because that KBC, when someone recommended that to us, he was like, I have no idea why this famous woman started this restaurant here. Out of all the places she could, with all her clout,
why
and all her fame, why she could have started a awesome restaurant here. But thank you. Yeah. Because it just makes it that much better.
Because the DCs and the New Yorks of the world, they have a lot of that kind of stuff, and it's awesome, and it's needed because there are so many people going there and living there. But it's so awesome when you find gems like that within a city. It's cool.
Yeah. Really so guys, cool. Even if you live in a more rural city, that's it, rural. I was like, rural, is that right? Yeah. Even if you live in a more rural city, it's okay. There's always fun stuff. You gotta go search for it. I remember the first semester I lived here, I didn't do anything, and I was like, this place sucks. And then I didn't realize how many everything was here. I didn't realize everything was here. And because I was like in Estero, and I was like, there's nothing in Estero. You go like 10 minutes outside Estero, 15 minutes outside Estero. There's Fort Myers, there's Bonita Springs, there's downtown Fort Myers, there's Fort Myers Beach, there's literally all of Naples. So you guys just gotta explore a little more.
Well, and Dothan, with it being so close to, I mean, it's basically like the panhandle of Florida. Like it's right there.
The beach,
it's like right near Pensacola.
45 minutes.
Like, yeah, it's
45
so
minutes.
close to the beach, and so it's like, even if, and I mean, Dothan clearly does have a lot to offer, but even if it didn't, you're near the beach, relatively near the beach, and I'm sure that the cost of living is quite
not
nice
high.
there. So that's always a plus, especially compared to the DCs of.
Oh yeah, don't get me started.
Yeah.
We'll see where we end up. But literally, what was hilarious to me was I was like, let's try and stay in Florida for tax purposes. You know, we can live 20 minutes away from the med school. We can live right under the line. And and I looked for houses. I looked in like there were 2 or 3 little towns on that line. They were like middle of nowhere podunk.
Yeah.
And I was like, never mind, it's fine. I was like, it's fine. I was like, don't worry. I don't know. They were
Not
like
worth...
No, the homes I found were like green carpet, like brown wood walls, like a cabin with green carpet and like old drapes from Gone with the Wind movie. I mean, really, it was a disaster.
I don't know. It kind of sounds like
a woodshed. Mike was like, "Is that like a woodshed in the back?" And I was like,
"Oh my gosh."
Okay.
Yeah, not a project house. That's not what you're looking for.
Yeah, I was gonna say, listen, flippers. I admire you, but I am not a flipper. No, thank you. You can come in and flip my house, but no. Anyway,
tune in a couple months because we'll be finding out if Dothan is their new home.
Dun dun
dun
dun
dun dun.
It's okay. So we'll travel. There's always Delta.
That's right.
There's always my Delta Sky Miles card. All right, travel breaths.